CM Ultimate. Blood Right, pretty nice against the Crystal Maiden.
It is delayed though. So
it is, I
it's
guess.
not like
You've got to be kind of, I mean, I guess you can scare her away from setting up base and setting up camp with the ult. You can force her away from the team fight. But, I mean, Bloodseeker, obviously, a pretty rampant era in pub games and now on the competitive scene. Picking it up in this situation.
It's a little bit... Okay, so I'm kind of torn. Normally, I would see a Bloodseeker and always say, like, okay, yeah, this hero's good. And the hero is strong. It's just a matter of what they're up against. Like, Bloodseeker is not good against a lot of disables. Because typically, you Blood Rage yourself. Or you Blood Rage the person that you Rupture if you're outnumbering them, right? But if you go in and you use Blood Rage on yourself and then you just get stunned or like put inside a cogs, you just explode. Like, you don't actually have a way of dealing damage with the amount of disables I think that Complexity have. And the other thing too is they're running triple melee against Clockwork. Like, that seems really sketchy to me. That's the only thing about their lineup that I would say doesn't really seem that great, is you have 3 melee heroes up against Clock. Now, it can be seen as kind of a good thing, because Spirit Breaker and Bloodseeker are both frontline heroes, and you need people to defend your Shadow Fiend. So MVP could be thinking with the idea that, okay, we need to make sure that we actually just have a bunch of heroes who deter attention away from our Shadow Fiend, so he can actually deal damage in the fights, which is not a bad idea by any stretch. I just look at this, and I'm thinking to myself, that Bloodseeker is going to have a really hard time getting in. And the Spirit Breaker and the Seeker are most likely going to be very easy targets, because Gyro does a ton of damage if you're in close range. They got Lina now as well.
You've got to be careful when you Blood Rage
yourself. Their burst is insane.
You're going to get blown up.
10 seconds
it's certainly true.
I actually like Complexity's draft much better than MVP's. Like, that's just my opinion. Like,
maybe with this final pick, it will all become clear. Everything will fall into place.
Yeah.
MVP Phoenix with this.
What if they just jungle Bloodseeker and they pick another carry?
Would you like it if they did that? Do you think that would be... No,
never mind.
It's disruptive.
I thought it would have been funny, because if you look at Complexity's lineup, they could actually still go aggressive with their heroes. So it's definitely like... It would have been very all-in if they picked a jungler. But it's just going to be the Seeker position 1.
Okay, and I mean, with the Disrupt as well, I guess another thing that's going to be able to help against the C, you know, just in these team fights where you can have Tusk, Gyro, CM heading straight in, Clockwork as well, hookshotting in, someone who's going to have the control and going to be able to help Phoenix counter it. And look for a pretty impressive team fight potential themselves, of course, with the Shaker, with the Bloodseeker running around. There's definitely potential. I feel from both lineups, and you know, I think we're going to have a fun game on our hands here with the second game in this series between Phoenix and Complexity Gaming. At the moment, Complexity Gaming with the victory in Game 1. And we'll just get ourselves underway, and we'll see, of course, if Phoenix are able to take this one. Both teams will walk away with 1 point each. Complexity, if they're able to take the full clean sweep, they get themselves 3 points in this position of the tournament here in the group stages at the International 2015. And, well, here we go, Draskell. Let's see what we've got going on in terms of lanes. I guess it's pretty much what we're going to expect to see straight off from the draft. Solo lane Spirit, solo lane Clock, and safe lane tri-lanes from both sides, would you imagine?
I'm guessing that's going to be the case. If anyone could go aggressive, I think it would be Complexity, because they have the Tusk for initiation. You can go like CM Tusk Gyro, and if you snowball on that and you get a Frostbite into a Rocket Barrage, the hero just dies, like 100% dead. I'm wondering, do MVP... Actually, do they go aggressive here? I mean, obviously they're walking around because they want to try to get vision, and they're looking for a potential kill, but right now KP is... I think in a spot out Moon Meander there, they definitely pinged it. Or maybe they're just pinging it because they assume he might be in the area. Okay, he can...
Oh, they got the snowball off. This is bad for KP. Straight in the fall with the Cox, the Rocket Barrage. There's nowhere for the Bloodseeker to run. That's going to be first blood going to Swindle Melons on the Lina. And, well, what a way to start the game there for Complexity.
That's
MVP.
So bad.
They went bottom. I think the Bloodseeker, they did see them. They didn't see the Gyro. I think he just might have seen the Clockwork and assumed it's just Clock on his own on the solo offlane.
Well, it's a lot of teams do that though. Like it's too hard to just say, okay, I'm fine. I can just go over here and explore. And it's very tempting to get the information, you know, just seeing like if he placed a ward or where he's going to place it. But I don't think it's ever really worth giving away first blood for. Just because how many times have we seen that, right? Like every single game, it seems like somebody just dies because they're trying to get a little bit too much information in the first, like, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds into the game.
And off the back of that as well, interestingly enough, Bloodseeker's actually going to go down to the bottom lane. We're going to have KP here, and they are going to send, of course, March up to the top lane. At the moment, in the jungle, Fairby there with Fly. Fly's going to find him out there and hit him away. And it'll be interesting to see how these lanes sell out at the moment, because there's a little bit of a mess. Top lane, we've got Zafreak and Zizzy on this Gyrocopter Tusk combination. You've got Fly at the moment hovering around the jungle. And is Moon Meander here on the safe lane solo Clock, dealing with the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, the Clock 1v1 against Seeker. This is normally a matchup where you say a lot of melee heroes against Clock just don't do well. Seeker is not in that category. He actually just beats everything. Like, any melee hero, doesn't matter who it is, as long as your last hitting is on point, you should win this lane.
When talking about winning lanes, towards the mid lane, we've got both Febby on the Disruptor and Nuts on the Earthshaker hanging around here, maybe looking to try and help QO to see if they can get some kind of Fissure to start something off onto Swindle Melons. But Swindle, he's got to be careful here. Maybe this is it, Nuts. He's looking for that Fissure desperately. Swindle Melons, he's aware that this is going on. Top lane, just trying to pressure onto Spirit Breaker here, pushing the lane in as much as they can. And again, the Fissure did come out. QO looking for the raises there, does hit a couple. I mean, MVP are committing a lot to try and win this lane for the Shadow Fiend.
It's very normal play, though. Like, you always want to make sure that your Shadow Fiend, especially against somebody like Lina, Lina dominates SF. Like, every time you go for a CS, you're going to eat a Dragon Slave, you're going to eat like 1 or 2 auto attacks. It's just a nightmare to have to deal with that in general. So it's no surprise that MVP are focusing on making sure that QO gets off to a good start, especially considering he's played very solidly throughout TI so far.
There's a freak coming in. He's blocked them both off here with the Ice Shards. Swindle Melons is going to start moving in now. There was the Fissure that was holding him back. The Snowball coming out. And it's actually going to be March, though, charging straight in for Swindle Melons. Febby and QO chasing this one down 2 minutes in. Right up the lane. There's one bash. We're going to need another. No, it doesn't matter because they've got the glimpse. Bringing the Lina back, and that is going to be them taking down Swindle Melons here by the Ancients. I don't think he finds a free kill as well. March, he has got a charge, but Nuts is giving him the vision. Do they want to go for more here? No, it looks like he's going to head back. Ice Shards is just going to be thrown out. But, I mean, that's the aggression paying off there. MVP having pretty much 4 heroes in the mid lane. Oh, damn it. Bottom lane. Fly turns up. Helps out Moon Meander by the looks of it.
Yeah, it was a very needed gank, too. Bloodseeker, again, he's very, very difficult to deal with. And the reactions so far coming in from both teams, they're trying to just emphasize on giving the heroes who have lane weaknesses a little bit of an advantage. And the nice thing about complexity for their team is when Moon hits 6, he doesn't have to worry about his laning phase anymore. You know, he can just look for kills. And there's a lot of heroes that he can kill in this lane. And middle lane, we're also going to see the Shadow Fiend here get picked off by the combination of the Tusk and the Lina.
Indeed, and that was still with the 2 supports around, but obviously as soon as that Snowball came out, Nuts wasn't able to get that Fissure there in time. Febby hanging around as well. So in terms of the lanes in the early game, it's certainly looking pretty good for complexity.
It's kind of the strength that you get when you pick a hero like Tusk. And again, like Shadow Fiend, he's very, very easy to punish, and we're seeing why. Just getting like 1 double stun on him. If the Shaker is not in like perfect position to just peel straight up, the SF cannot live. There's just no way.
On top lane, Zafreak's actually come up here on the Tusk. Maybe see if we can do anything against March. March, pretty damn tanky, 800 HP to get through, 6 armor at this point. It's going to be a hard kill to try and get if they wanted to. Nuts just heading back, looking to create some stacks, and some stacks he certainly is creating here for the Shadow Fiend. So SF, of course, is going to have that to fall back to and enable them to catch, well, say catch up with the Lina, but the space has kind of been created, and 20 for 5 against the 12 for 3 is not looking that bad for the SF in the mid lane anymore at all.
Complexity haven't really put as much pressure on mid. Like the first 2 or 3 waves, I think, MVP had their supports sitting there, and not just one, but sometimes both of them, just making sure that QO would be able to get some souls. Because once that happens, then it's not so hard to actually just win that lane. And March is getting it pressured a little bit here.
I'm actually even thinking he might have needed to charge away. That does end up cancelling it. And there's going to be a bit of a wraparound here, in fact, from KP and Febby. KP he hasn't got level 6, he's just sitting at the level 5. So Swindle Melons actually going pretty deep here because he's not even got a Laguna Blade himself. He's just trying to trade, and that deepness might end up not going the way he wanted to because there's a charge coming in. He does have a salve, but KP moving forward as well. Swindle Melons up on the high ground. They've got a kinetic field to hold him in place. Nowhere for the Lina to run, and Swindle Melons will fall here again from what was actually a 5-man rotation on the mid lane. They do not like Lina.
That is some serious hate, actually. But they understand like what the early game goal is for their team. They know the Bloodseeker is going to need minimal help, and if worst case comes to worst case, he can just go back to jungle and then just, you know, hit creeps, and there's not going to be too much pressure coming his way. And since Moon Meander is still not 6,
And the bottom lane, KP and Febby coming in with the wraparound here. Moon, is he going to be able to fight himself out of this one? Kinetic field has been dropped down. KP trying to go in, but the battery assault doing quite a bit. Now with the cogs, KP getting low. He could actually be in trouble. He needs to run away. There is a rocket flare available in a couple of seconds. It's only level 1 though. I don't think it's going to be enough. He's going to try and tap Febby. The rocket flare. Oh, KP's incredibly low. Febby as well, sitting on 7 HP. Moon, he's going in. He gets 1. He gets 2. It's a double kill for Moon Meander. What the hell?
Why did he turn around? Febby? Why?
Oh man, easy double kill there for the Clockwork. Wow. Dota
so,
2.
We talked about the mechanical mistakes of MVP in the last game. Are we going to be seeing more of the same? Are we going to be seeing them make those kinds of mistakes? Because there is absolutely no way they were killing him with a Disruptor auto attack. Like, come on. He has treads, he's got Stout Shield, Wand. Like, I don't know, maybe it's nerves, but that was definitely not the play.
Nope, Melons. He's going to get the stunner onto QO. He has got a Laguna Blade, but QO on the high ground is going to be okay. Charge coming through from March. He's actually going to commit here for this one, going straight in. Is he going to follow up looking for the bash? He's got the fight set's going on here. Oh, the snowball coming out. Fly has actually fallen here, so it's going to be Tusk going in on pretty low health on his own. So Freak's going to lose his life as well here in the dire jungle. Both of the heroes giving themselves up, and the rest of Complexity not able to do anything to back them up. So MVP now bringing the scoreboard to 5-5, getting themselves a couple of kills back their way.
Well, it's really good that MVP actually managed to get something there. He's only got mana for 1 stun.
He's okay, he's got Laguna Blade as well. He's looked to use it, but there's 3 heroes here. March does have a charge as well. QO doesn't have the mana for the raises, but he's going to look for the punches here. Cornar's coming in. Zizzy trying to turn around now. The snowball onto March, catching him in place, will bring him down. March is down for 20 seconds. And now they're actually going to find the stack on Zizzy here with the flat cannon. He's got 3 hits left. They're going to be able to steal this. Q coming in. He's a bit peed off. I would be if I was him. This is a fair bit of CS. He gets a bit there with a final raise. 4 heroes of Complexity in the jungle at the moment. And now, KP coming in with the ruptures as he sits in place and salves up. He knows what he's doing. He's all good to go. And Zafreak, he's got a snowball available. They might be able to turn this one onto QO. Charge onto Zizzy. Rupture is now worn off. The question is, do they want to go back in on this one MVP? And I don't think they do. I think March? He's going to stop this now. He doesn't want to go any further. And the warding as well from Complexity here, giving them fantastic vision here on the dire jungle. And bottom lane, meanwhile, Moon Meander. That's another kill for Moon here, and now March coming in. Moon Meander's going to hang around. No, Moon, you're not going to do this, are you? Oh, March incredibly low. Moon's going to back himself away as the tower hits covering. Nuts is there. Wither Fisher will find the kill, but Moon nearly getting away with it again on this bottom lane, but he does get the Disruptor kill.
He's doing so much work for his team. Yeah. Like, that in of itself, he just forced 3 heroes down to his lane, gets a solo kill, and he actually almost got a double again. Like, March almost died too, but like the amount of pressure that he's creating for his team and just being like level 8 with just some treads,
it's insane.
He's getting too much done on the map. And the other thing too is he's actually got a lot of CS as well. He's 3rd highest. So he's farming, he's creating space, he's doing everything. Like he's actually playing like a position 1 Clockwork that's also like ganking. I don't know, it's
Swindle.
weird.
Can he do this? He hasn't quite got the mana. He's got the bold charges if he wants to bottle up for the second to get the Dragon Slave in with the Light Strike Array. And backup is inbound as well. So Freak and Zizzy moving in smoked up. They're going to get the vision to get the snowball in onto QO. QO's in a lot of trouble.
Oh no!
The ice shards! The ice shards! Oh, it doesn't matter. The cooldown clips him on the edge. That was nearly close to a bit of a mess up there from Complexity, but they find a kill nonetheless. Fish onto KP. What's KP using on Zizzy? Dragging him back there with a glimpse as well. Fly going in. Look, he's ready for this, and he's going to find it there with the help of Swindle Melons, bringing down Febby on the Disruptor. Second pick off there for Complexity. And I've got to say, a lot of action so far in this game. 9 minutes in, 9 for 6. And Moon, he's got a hook shot. Nuts. Oh, Nuts. If he can land this. Oh, Moon, he's just a little bit too short. Nuts will be able to get himself out.
That was a nice stun actually by Swindle. Oh. He guessed where he was, but he was just a little bit too slow.
KP, he did find the pickup there onto the Crystal Maiden with the help of March. So again, MVP finding something in response. Coming up to 9.5 minutes in. Let's have a look at the graphs. What kind of difference are we seeing? It's about 2k favoring Complexity in terms of XP, and coming up to 3k in terms of gold. Still kind of close, but Complexity, they've pretty much held a lead and they've kept it. And I've got to say, a lot of it is down to Moon.
Yeah, Moon's played a phenomenal early game. His laning phase was a bit rough, but again, that's to be expected. And as soon as he had the opportunity to make anything happen, like he picks up a double kill, he gets 1 more on a Febby after he's going to bottom lane. And that's kind of one of the problems when you're playing these supports who really need level 6 up against a Clockwork, is very often a team will give you a solo lane to farm. and then you farm that lane until you're 6, so you have your static storm, you know, you get your echo up, and then you just play from there. Oh, okay, Ziz, this is not your woods, dude.
He is all alone. Nobody there beside him. He's going to drop the cooldown. QO's moving in as well. Zizzy trying to do what he can in response, but isn't going to find anything. Does a fair bit of damage. It's not enough. Yeah. And that is, yeah, the Jara getting caught out of place. And caught out of luck.
Now, we were talking about the Clockwork and his function in this game, and his anticipation is that the support heroes will be solo farming lanes because MVP want to prioritize getting those heroes experience. So just by being there, yeah, Moon, he's ready.
There's a fair few around here, though. They do know because they've got fantastic vision here, Complexity. March actually charging forward here, but the snowball coming out. They're trying to counter this one. They're calling in the cogs with the battery assault as well, bringing March low, trying to get the Nova Strike off, but the battery assault is stopping any hope of that happening. But they're turning around with the raises. Double kill for QO. Fantastic control from Febby there with the static storm and the kinetic field, turning in for a 2-for-1. Looks like MVP might be able to find themselves the tower here as well. Moving in, they might want to try and find Zizzy. There's your Fisher, the Necro Slam available on this Earthshaker. Here we go with the record assaults. QO getting low, that will drop. Disruptor's going to fall as well. There's your Echo Slam. Jara goes down. Slap onto Flybout. Fly with a freezing field. Trying to find the kill. Will get it. Double kill for the Crystal Maiden. The only survivor of this bloodbath here in the mid lane gets herself and rightfully so, because KP there moving at the speed of light was looking for the Maiden herself. But wow, let's have a look at the fight recap there. And well, it's only catching the last few kills, but again, Complexity getting a fair bit out of that tower defense.
Freezing field confirmed, pretty good spell. It also instantly deals damage too, so like even if your RNG is really bad, I think minimum it just hits at least once to everybody as soon as you start channeling the spell. So just showcasing there why Crystal Maiden can be pretty important. It's a support who kind of demands the attention of the enemy team. As soon as you see that spell cast, you have to deal with it. Like you either have to run or you have to kill or stun the Crystal Maiden somehow. And unfortunately for MVP, they did not have anything left. I will say though that the combination they had mid with like the Static Storm and the raises was very well done. Yeah. And I think the MVP are actually playing, like they're getting things together a bit.
See if Complexity can find something more here. Moving in with the smoke. Moon has got that hook shot. March is going to walk into it here, and here we go. Straight in. Moon moving in for the cogs if he needs to. March going to be held in place here by the Crystal Maiden. Kinetic field coming out. The Static Storm drops on Zizzy as well. It doesn't matter. Moon's got the completed blade mail. Finds the kill on Spirit Breaker. Now it's a freak with the snowball onto Nuts. They bring down the Earthshaker. Well, the ice shards trapping up QO. QO, he's trying to turn it around with the raises, but he's almost certainly going to go down into the punches. He's getting low, and he will finally go down. Double kill here. Oh, KP there moving in, taking down the Gyrocopter. Now picks himself up an Invis room, which will allow him to get himself out because the rest of his team is dead. 4 for 2 there. And KP just zipping himself away. But again, another trade. The Complexity are going to be incredibly happy with the XP and gold swing. Incredibly apparent there. And apologies, we are just having this quick pause. And the graph as well is not quite ticked in, of course, but we are certainly seeing this is Complexity's game to lose at the moment. They have got full control over MVP.
Well, we talked about how good their team was in terms of aggressive potential, right? You have Clockwork, you have Tusk, you have Lina, you have Gyro, CM. All of these heroes are very capable of fighting during the early game, and they have a lot of disable. Like you have Snowball, Clockwork, you can put somebody inside of Cogs, you got Frostbite, and then you also have Lina stun. So they can just go in. If they find a hero, doesn't matter who it is, you won't be tanky enough to live. And I'm fairly certain at this point, QO doesn't even... Okay, he does have his mech finished, but he didn't have it for that particular fight. So instead of being able to pop the mech and maybe turn things, he didn't really have the HP boost it needed to make it through. And this is even considering that QO had a lot of babysitting in the middle lane. Like a 13-minute mech in treads, it's not bad. It's just not really that fast, and that's all attributed to the fact that Complexity are just pressuring everywhere, like non-stop. And we talked about Moon too. He's already got that blade mail going. Like, I think a lot of this game is just because of him.
Yeah, some really nice iron pickups coming in 13 minutes in for Complexity. Swindle, he's got his completed jewels here as well, so looking very good for him. Top of the net worth, 6.1k. Interestingly enough to note, though, it is the Bloodseeker and the Shadow Fiend that are both farming relatively well there, being at the top of the board. KP at the moment, what's he got in terms of items? Well, he's picked himself up an Ogre Club. I mean, does he just go for that kind of race car S and Y here, or does he need to go for the straight up BKB?
I think if he doesn't get BKB, he just dies. Yeah. Like, he hasn't opted to go Blade Mail, and I think you go S and Y when you have Blade Mail because you want to increase your effective HP pool. So the Blade Mail actually becomes better, right? So the more health you have, the more you can reflect with Blade Mail. That's the typical ideology when you build that item. But because he hasn't gotten a Blade Mail and he went Midas, I really think he's just going to go straight BKB.
We'll see what they're able to do here as they smoke up Nuts. Has the Echo Slam. KP's got the Rupture. Everything's available. Static Storm as well. 3 heroes are towards the mid lane. Oh, Fly, this ward. This may just spell the end of Fly's life. Everything getting thrown down onto the Crystal Maiden. He just sits there, desperately wanted the creep. He does get it, so it's something. It's something. He does get the gold for it, but he pays with his life. He tanks the gank.
Yeah, it's not too bad for your Crystal Maiden to die for something like that. It could be a lot worse. You could get a core picked off, and when that kind of stuff happens, typically a team will just... They'll transition from going from a gank to just pushing a tower, and right now Complexity have done a very nice job. They have not lost a single outer tier tower at this point. So losing a Crystal Maiden, I think it's fine.
Bottom lane, the ping's coming out. KP here with the defense, working his way towards that Mithril Hammer. Middle lane, Zafreak and Zizzy will be able to claim this tower. More gold here for the Jara, who's now got that helm on top of the phase boots, and Aquila. I mean, the Jara himself, does he need a BKB up against MVP's lineup? Well, I get with the Earthshaker and the Jara, well, the Disruptor as well. I guess it would be the item to get.
It's still good. I mean,
can he
BKB...
go SMY this game?
Yeah, SOY is okay. BKB is also okay. I think maybe he goes SOY.
Surprise Spirit Breaker here. And,
he's out of there. That's a bail moment. Yeah, but I think either one is fine. I think BKB is the safe choice because you already have so much damage on your team, and you know the MVP aren't going to get BKBs anytime soon. So if you want to rely on your magical damage output for Complexity, and you're looking at Gyro and thinking, I could probably just buy BKB and be super safe, or I can buy SOY and deal a little bit more damage, I think probably the former would be a little bit better.
Moving around pretty much as a 5-man here, the side of MVP. Roshan is up. I guess neither side really has the best potential at the moment to take it quick enough to attempt it. So.
MVP can kill it, but I think Complexity have a significantly worse Roshan team.
Looks like neither team that interested at the moment. Fly his farm, so it looks like Fly's going to be going for this Midas on the CM. He's coming up to 1k gold on top of the Gloves of Haste. So we'll see how that one works out for him. Swindlemelons at the moment just hiding here in the tree line. The rest of his team looking to get a bit of momentum going on the top lane. They do have TPs at the ready. Blink now completed on Tusk. And here we go already. So Moon coming back, comes back to the tier 2 with the hook shot available. Point booster picked up on his road to that.
They're going to see him. They just placed a ward there.
It's going to be very hard for him to catch anyone out here.
That ward definitely saw him, like 100%. Yeah, they're already leaving. They don't even want to push anymore. They know it's not worth the risk. They're respecting the fact that Complexity, their 5 versus 5 team fight is very good, unless MVP somehow get like a crazy static storm.
Top lane. QO's come quite far out on his own here. And he's got the mech, but I don't think the mech's going to save him in this situation, and it certainly isn't.
It's
Gyro
so much damage.
Getting the kill there, and wow, I think QO just getting a bit too ballsy there.
Well, we talked about that combination earlier, like Gyrocopter with Tusk. Like you guarantee the Rocket Barrage and the call down damage, because once you snowball, you get a stun, you shards, you stun again because of punch, and then by that time the call down's already landed. You're getting like 2 Rocket Barrages for free, you're getting a call down and the full Tusk combo. That is like, what, 1,500 damage? Something like that? Like, it's insane. And that's not it. That's like including auto attacks, of course. But yeah, that combination is pretty silly.
KP just over 100 gold away from that BKB, so we'll see what the amount of havoc he's able to create in these fights. And to be fair, looking at the lineup, there isn't a lot they're going to be able to do against Bloodseeker running around. I guess they've got the hook shot to try and control him, hold him in position. I mean, things like the ice shards as well, if you can get them in a handy position, they can work in your favor. And well, the fight's already kicking off. Here's Nuts getting low. Fly there, should be able to finish this one with a final right click. CM taking the kill. And now Moomiander moving in here with a haste rune, trying to chase down Febby with a battery assault. He's going to throw down the static storm, but it doesn't seem to matter. He's caught Zafreak, but that is it for the time being. Roach onto Zizzy, but Zizzy's going to try and find place. Here's your BKB. Is KP going to work onto Zizzy? Can he find the kill? Yes, he can. He's going to look for more potentially. Fly trying to run himself away. Moomiander and Swindlemelons are able to take down QO here on the Shadow Fiend, making the trade a 4 for 2. And again, Complexity coming out top of this one. KP is on his way back to the base. I mean, KP did manage to take down the Gyro, but whilst he was doing that, the rest of his team was just getting absolutely slaughtered by Complexity.
SF just died twice in a row. Like, QO dies top, he immediately respawns. He put out an 18 soul Requiem, which really didn't do much. I think he was just doing it mostly for damage reduction, and then he just dies again. So the Bloodseeker right now is kind of the shining hope for MVP. It seems to me that they rely very heavily on KP, like every single game, to just be like, please God, carry us. Because right now it's just like, everything else is not going well for them.
Oh, and here we go. They're going to go for some more aggression here as March charging straight, and Swindle's got the yours. He's going to be able to get it off as well. Is he going to try and turn this one around? No, they're going to look at this opportunity to just get the hell out of there. Fly heading up the river. I think Swindlemelon's coming back in, going to get caught out by this Fisher. And just a little glimpse there as well as a freak. Not finding anything. Just keeping each other at bay. I mean, worth noting, CM now does have the Midas. And if you look at the net worth as well, the three lowest at the moment are all on the side of MVP. And there is a little bit of a gap here, 1.4k between the Spirit Breaker and the Crystal Maiden. Overall on the graphs as well, that's going to be shown here, 7.5k overall, 5k in terms of XP. And here we go, March charging in. Who's he going for? Well, he's looking at Zizzy. He's going to cancel this one. No, the Yule's actually, sorry, holding him in place there. But now Swindlemelons is actually going to get dragged back by the Glimpse. Caught in the middle of this all. They're going for Swindlemelons on the Lina. Getting her low. Is she going to be able to do anything in return? No, the Echo Slam will finish her off. Swindlemelons actually buying back, realizing that he might just get himself back in this fight to help his team turn it. Complexity will be able to bring down QO on the Shadow Fiend. There'll be a TP out here from the Spirit Breaker. Everybody else getting themselves the hell out of there. MVP. They lose QO, but they do kill Swindlemelons, and they do force him to buy back.
Melons bought back. Are they rushing? Is that why he bought back?
Well, maybe. I kind of felt that they wanted to continue fighting. I mean, Freak chasing them incredibly far here with the Ice Shards. But maybe he just felt the fight would go on long enough that he could get himself back in. You know, of course, they still got the tier 2 here. It was going on fairly closely, the fight, but it wasn't the case. MVP, I feel that they pulled out at the right time there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, after seeing the buyback, there's definitely no reason for them to stay. I just thought it was rare that he bought back in the first place.
Oh, they might find this kill, though. KP, and, well, KP is in a lot of trouble. Flies there as well. KP, he doesn't have the BKB available, and he's going to get taken down there. He's a Freak with the kill, and, oh, Spirit Breaker suddenly going down as well as Moonmeander. Look at this guy. He's going ham. Nuts is going to go down as well. It's just Febby left alive with QO that's only just spawned. Now, you have 3 heroes on the deck, none of them with the gold available for buyback. And it looks like Complexity will simply take this time to maybe try and get this tier 2 here. The creep wave actually is pretty far back, so they've got to hold on for that one. But still, again, MVP just making these mistakes.
Well, it's kind of understandable that March got picked off because Swindle actually bought back. He bought a Blink Dagger, and then he just beelined all the way across the map. Like, the pathing that he took was relatively unexpected. And if you looked at the warding a couple of minutes ago that MVP had, all of their vision was essentially inside of Complexity's jungle. And the way that Melons walked, he went into fog, basically, and you could expect that he might have just been farming a jungle camp, you know? Like, it was very weird that he decided to make that particular pathing. So I understand why March died, but it seems to me like MVP, they're just not... They're not really ever on the same page. Like, people are splitting up, and then when they take a team fight, like, they're not strong enough in of itself. Like, their Shadow Fiend needs BKB desperately. The Bloodseeker is the only one who can really stand inside of the team fight, and I think maybe they should have kind of helped QO out a little bit more than they did, because he's died 7 times. I mean, that's a lot of deaths for a Shadow Fiend, and this is a hero who can still recover very nicely. It's just, they're not letting off the gas. Complexity are constantly looking for fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to remember as well, this was a Shadow Fiend that, for the most part of the early game, had 2 support spotters in the mid lane. We saw 5-man ganks helping him out mid, but Complexity have just been able to fight past that and bring themselves back on top. We're seeing the very reliable lead in terms of golden XP overall on the graphs. Coming up to 10k now in both respects. And again, as you're saying, it is still KP, top of the net worth. I think MVP still looking to this Bloodseeker, waiting for him to win the game.
It's going to be the blood for the blood god. That's pretty much what we're looking at right now, and it needs to be if MVP want to tie up the series and make it a 1-1. But for now...
Fly there with the freezing field. Why not?
Yeah, why not, dude? The thing that's really weird about this is that Fly is able to sit in front of their base. Like, he's getting charged.
He might die for this, though.
Yeah, but even still, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, if he gets a Midas off before he dies, that's a moral victory in and of itself.
God, the Midas Fly. Oh, no.
He's not going to get Midas. Oh, they're going to get a turnaround kill, though, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, Fly sacrifices himself almost certainly. The Disruptor will go down. They are going to look for March here. You know, Swindlemelons, he's pretty speedy. Just March. Oh, no, the vision. Charge through the tree line. Smart man. Oh, he's got it. Smart enough, though, with the blink to the Yule. Swindlemelons catching him out. March is going to go down as well. That's a Laguna Blade of Swindle. Double kill for Yolina. And they Fly to the perfect bait there.
Yeah, that was a pretty sick bait, actually. I wonder if no, I don't think the low ground ward spotted him charging in, but they definitely knew, like, no matter what, they knew that March was charging him. They might have even seen him from lane, and they just bait out their CM and turn around and get 2 kills for it. So even in situations where Fly could be considered a little bit overextended, Complexity still makes something happen out of it. They're not just saying like, okay, our CM died. It's okay, our CM dies, but we kill a support and we kill the offlaner. Well, I guess in this case he was safe lane. But it's why I really don't like the matchup of Bloodseeker and Spearbreaker against heroes like Clockwork.
Okay.
Because with a Yule stun on Alina and a Clockwork already, and their Spearbreaker not having BKB, like how is March supposed to do anything? Like how does he go in against these heroes? Because one hero is going to be BKB'd, and that's going to be KP. If he goes in and one hero is BKB'd, guess what happens? He freaking explodes. He can't do anything at all in this matchup. I honestly think that Complexity may have outdrafted them here.
Here we go. My MVP now with the smoke. Let's see if they're able to find a fight. And it's going to benefit them. Moving into the jungle here. Everyone's about on the side of Complexity. It's going to be a tough fight as well. Fly. He spotted this one out here. We've got the back lines. We've got to look at this. Moomiander going in onto Nuts, making sure the Echo Snap does not do anything to the rest of his team. QO's there as well, trying to fight this one up. And the rest of the team of Complexity moving in as a freak. Coming in just in time with the mech to keep Moomiander alive for a little bit. Still falls. It's a 2-for-2 at the moment. The fight is KP a little bit too speedy for them to chase down. And March and QO coming in. They want to continue this. But QO getting caught out by Swindlewell as the Laguna Blade bringing down the Shadow Fiend. March now on the run. KP's going to look straight for the TP. March actually cancelling the charge there. And now it's going to be Zizzy and Zafreak. Swindlemelons as well. They'll bring down the Spirit Breaker. Everyone bar the Bloodseeker falling from the side of MVP. Then they're only able to take down the Clock and the Crystal Maiden themselves. And I've got to be honest, looking at Moomiander and Fly, they've really been the big... They're the sacrificial lambs. Every time, Fly's on the front lines. He says, take me. Moomiander in that fight, hook-shotting in it and tanking the Echo Slam, ensuring that this Earthshaker couldn't get an initiation. And it's working perfectly for the side.
The thing is, that Shaker, he's being forced into going Force Staff. Like, you don't really want to make Force Staff unless you absolutely have to. And Clockwork is just one of those heroes that the matchup of Clockwork versus Shaker, it's a nightmare. You can't even get a spell off if Battery Assault is used on you and you're stuck inside a cog. So this is his only choice. And that makes you have to play suboptimally, right? Like, ideally you get Blink and you just go in for a counter initiation, but Moomiander's been so on point with his hook shots and finding the hero that he needs that there's never been an opportunity for Nuts to really do a whole heck of a lot of anything during these fights. And with that said, Swindle even has his Aghanims done. So this is going to start being like the point where BKBs are supposed to turn the game for MVP. Like QO and the Bloodseeker both having BKB should be like, alright, you know, all the damage on Complexity, a lot of it is magical during the early game. We can now stand and fight. Unfortunately, Ag's Laguna still takes like 80% of QO's health.
It's, yeah. QO is, I mean, even just with the mech of the BKB, it's just not enough to have all Moon. Unfortunately, with
Caster's Curse.
It doesn't matter. He's got the, you know, with the Ags, you're free to throw these hooks out left, right, and center, and it doesn't matter if they latch every time. But could have been a potential kill, but still, it doesn't matter. 32 to 20. Oh, the difference now. This is the biggest difference we've seen in a game, I'm pretty sure, at the moment. I mean, 14,000 in both respects, especially at this point of a game. 27 minutes in. Complexity are going to feel very comfortable with where they are at the moment.
It's an uphill struggle for MVP, to say the least. Like, they need to get so much done. Okay, he's
going to get KP here. This is going to be pretty massive. Moon's moving in with a hook shot, looking for it. And there we go. Only in place the Cogs. Giving Q about BKB's coming out. KP trying to walk himself around.
Nice vision.
He's caught in place, but the Glimmer KP, he's got to stand still, keep himself safe. Laguna Blade blowing up KP. That's the danger of blood raging yourself there, my friend. QO falls as well. And now it's the Freak moving forward with the snowball, looking for Nuts. Fly trying to get himself in range. It's going to be a double kill for Swindlemelons. They're actually able to take down the Disruptor as well. They'll find Nuts. Also, 4 heroes down. It is just going to be March charging himself the hell out of it and saying, nope, I don't want to be a part of that at all. And again, Complexity just cleaning this floor with MVP.
That was worst case scenario for MVP because the one hero that they're relying on is the one who got caught first. So KP had to pop his BKB just to prevent himself from dying in like the first 3 seconds. But during that BKB duration, there was no counterplay coming out from MVP. It's not like the BKB allowed him to deal damage. He BKB'd to run. And when you have to do that as Bloodseeker against these types of heroes, the fight is already lost. As soon as he was the one who got caught out, there was almost no way MVP could have turned that around, especially considering that they have a Shaker who does not have Blink Dagger at 28 minutes in. So that being said, Complexity, they fully utilized their advantage. They've taken mid-racks. They are 100%, like, massively in the lead right now.
This man's on a mission.
He wants the Clockwork, but...
He wants it. I don't know if he's going to get it. March?
He actually just bashed him out, I think. Oh,
There's
Glimmer.
The Glimmer
Glimmer.
from Fly, and I think this is, well, okay. That's a way to give Alina a godlike streak, and that's March down for 40 seconds.
I don't know if that was a tilt charge or what, but it did not seem like an optimal play. Like, when you have to charge all the way across the map to find somebody, I guess from his perspective, maybe he thought that the rest of CoL just like TP'd back to base or something, and he was just playing it a little bit greedy by farming a 1 or 2 extra camps, and he thought that he could get away with that, maybe, but at this point, you got to try to go for something, I guess, right?
I get it, you do. You need
you're
some
really
kind
far
of special
behind.
takeoff. Yeah, and the grass are really starting to steer off now.
It's
over 20,000.
It's not looking great for MVP. And I think that Complexity have shown that they are definitely stable enough to compete here at the International.
Top lane, March is going to be charging forward to Zizi. He's got still a fair bit to go. And Zizi's going to try and move back in. Now with the ropes, they want to hold him in place. He's got BKB, he's got lifesteal as well. He's got Moon here backing him up. Straight onto kill. Oh, where's your BKB now, Shadow Fiend? March finally turns up to the party, but I just have a feeling it's a little bit too late. No one is falling on the side of Complexity. MVP have lost. There's your Echo Snap, but what did it do? It looked like it even gave them help because the Guardian Grease being popped there by a freak. Nuts goes down. Ultra kill for Swindlemelons. And GG, what a game. 42-20. First game was a bit of a tight one, but this one, Complexity just proving to be in a totally different league.
I really consider Complexity to have outdrafted them in this game. Like, if you look at the hero composition, Bloodseeker and Spiritbreaker against heroes who specialize at dealing with melee heroes, like Gyrocopter, even as a range,
Look at the scoreboard.
when you go to point-blank range,